So I was curious, the time away between then and now, were there more injuries to deal with, or was it just waiting to get booked?
It was waiting to get booked. I kept asking, my management for fights, and believe it or not, no one really wanted to fight. I kept asking for top 15, top 10, and no one wanted to book me. So he was just like, let's just take this fight, and keep you busy. And after this, I promise you, you'll be ranked, and we'll get you a higher ranking opponent.
Nice. What do you think about Julian as an opponent? I mean, he's had some setbacks, but he's had some great performances as well.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys. I always look at their strengths first. So one thing I notice, he's tall. He's 6'1". Second thing I notice, he seems to have decent cardio. And the third thing I notice, he seems to like to scrap. He likes to scrap. But as well, I look at his weaknesses. I saw that he got knocked out by Julian Erosa, which I felt like I had no problem with him. I see that he's a little bit sloppy. He has holes in his game. He likes to get hit, and I think that's just a bad recipe for me. I'm the least hit featherweight of all time, and I'm a very high-level striker, former world champion in Muay Thai, very high wrestling defense. My grappling is always getting better, so I see myself finishing this fight in a number of different ways. But just because I've beaten guys that have beaten him and he's had his setbacks, I'm not taking this fight lightly.
With the things you touched on, though, I do wonder, right? Like, he does like to scrap, but do you think he'll be willing to do that with you, or do you think this is a fight where he'll turn to his grappling?
I think he's gonna try and scrap at first, and then when he feels something he doesn't like, he's gonna try and turn it into a grappling match.
Last thing for me, I mean, you kind of touched on it, but a win here. I mean, 7-1 in your last 8. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Ranked opponent. I mean, it has to be a ranked opponent at that point, right?
Yeah, definitely. After this fight, I got some big names that I want to call out and get myself back in the ranking system and start making my title run. I feel like my time is now.
Came over here. You touched upon your Muay Thai background. I actually asked him how he would compare his striking to yours in MMA, and he said that in the past he's actually done very well against high-level technical strikers because in his words, he's scrappy and unorthodox. So I'm curious what you make of his striking in MMA.
Who's the high-level striker that he's beaten?
I think he said he fought Mehdi Baghdad on The Ultimate Fighter was the one that he brought up. He was a kickboxer.
Yeah, I never heard of that dude. I was a WMC world champion. I haven't seen him beat any high-level strikers. Julian Erosa is a decent striker, and he got knocked out by him. So, I think whatever makes him feel good, but definitely I think me and him are different calibers, and I think he's underestimated me because once you're in the octagon with me, it's a lot different. I think he's maybe seen, he calls me a clean striker, and I don't like to fight dirty, but I know how to fight. I just make it clean because I'm very technical. But if he wants to get up close and get into the danger zone, I think he's got a rude awakening.
He also is looking forward to fighting in the big octagon because all of his past, lately, it's been all in the here, where it's the smaller one. He said having more room to work will benefit him. So are you expecting anything different from him?
Yeah, I think he wants that because he wants more room to run, and I hope he's not a runner. But we'll see. I heard a couple interviews saying, he wants to strike with me, but then I heard a couple interviews he wants to keep it long range. So I hope we don't have another fight where it's like Zubar or, he's running. But I'm going to be cutting off the octagon. I'm going to be putting the pressure down, and I'm going to make sure it's a fight.
And has the UFC told you anything about the possibility of going back to Canada in the near future at all?
I heard when I first got booked for September, they were talking about Toronto, Vancouver, and yeah, they just kind of scrapped that. So I have heard talks about it, but as of right now, I don't know. But I would love to do something back in Canada, obviously Toronto or Vancouver, or during Stampede time in Calgary, Alberta, around July. I think that would be perfect.
And finally, what are your thoughts on the main event between Hamzat and Nate Diaz? How do you see that playing out?
Of course, I'm going to go with kind of everybody else. I see Hazmat, taking the fight. But if it goes into the 4th and 5th rounds and he doesn't finish Nate Diaz, Nate Diaz is one of those OGs that can kind of surprise you. So if it does hit the 4th and 5th rounds, I can see Nate Diaz giving him maybe a little bit of problem. But it's definitely a tough fight. They fed him a lion in there.
Good.